The story begins as Lieutenant Mins witnesses the devastation caused by enemy forces on the battlefield and uses his radio to communicate with other soldiers. But just as he ends the call and walks into the active fire zone, he gets shot and falls to the ground. He gets flown to the U.S. hospital, where the doctor performs surgery, and they wonder why he isn't already dead, because he has been in a coma for several hours and has flown halfway across the world. The doctors check his brain and find something stuck in his cerebrum, but just when they are about to take it out, they find something very strange. The man has not one, but two brainwave patterns, which means he has an alien brain inside his head. Adam Ballard, Assistant Secretary of Science, flies to his superiors and tells them about his findings. He says that Lieutenant Mins was shot in the head and is still in a coma. The doctors checked his brain and they found two brainwaves. Secretary Branch is shocked by this revelation, but then Adam tells him that it's not just two brainwaves, but he has two brains. He then tells Mr. Branch that it's not the only case. He says that the first such case, exactly like Lieutenant Mins, was of Sergeant James Conover, and during his surgery, they found the double brain pattern as well. Next, Private First Class Francis Hadley had the same issue. A month ago, Private Robert Ronaldo had the same issue, and the results were the same. All of them shot in the head and develop a second brainwave when the bullet is extracted. Adam then tells him that this is not the whole issue. He points out that in all these graphs, there is a brain pattern that belongs to the individuals. And if they isolate it and then put the remaining alien patterns together from all soldiers, it comes out to be just one same pattern, just one alien brain. Mr. Branch asks him what this is, and Adam replies that it's not a coincidence as they all had the same issue. They should have died, but didn't. When the bullets were removed, another brain and intelligence took over. This is evident because of their new IQs, which exceed 200, and this is more than a genius. Mr. Branch questions what these men are doing, and Adam answers that he doesn't know. The others, except for Lieutenant Mins, vanished, and there is no trace. He says that they couldn't take any precautions for the first few cases, but when they discovered the seriousness of the matter, they took precautions. Unfortunately, they weren't enough, and Private Robert Ronaldo simply walked out of the hospital. Mr. Branch wonders if he used excessive force, but Adam replies that it wasn't the case. Adam then tells Mr. Branch about the bullets that have a strange marking, and when he shows this to the experts at the laboratory, they found that all of these bullets have a very unique structure. It's as if their metallic honeycomb structure had something in it in the past, but now it's gone. The scientists at the lab wish to see the ore from which these bullets were made, and Adam requests Mr. Branch for assistance. He asks for more guards around Mins, and he also wants help in finding the metal ore. He requests Branch to ask the FBI for help in finding the missing persons. Later, Adam visits Lieutenant Mins and asks him about his new interests, perhaps in biology, physics, or metallurgy, but he replies that he has no such interest. Adam hints towards his high IQ, but Mins simply says that he feels no difference, and perhaps his higher intelligence will go in vain. Adam then questions him about his future plans, but Mins says he is happy here as he has everything one can need. Adam then questions if he has anyone waiting for him, to which Mins replies that he must have already seen his case files, and he has no one. Adam tells him that it's the same just as the other three men, and Mins replies that yes, it seems there are a lot of coincidences here, and perhaps Adam thinks there is some reason behind it. Afterward, Adam goes to the battlefield where the soldiers have caught a man who claims to know where the bullets ore came from. One of the officers there learns that the ore came from the nearby province, but unfortunately this region is under enemy control. Adam tells him that he must get there no matter what, and his determination finally convinces the officer who comes along with him. Soon, they reach the place and start looking for the exact location. However, they get attacked by an enemy, and luckily the officer saves Adam's life. They soon discover that the ore was actually extracted from the crater of a meteor, and Adam finds a small meteorite there and comes back to get it checked by their scientists. The doctor tells them that it looks familiar, but it actually isn't. The molecular honeycomb structure is very different from ordinary rock. He then tells them that he found an altered form of RNA factor, which is the basic ingredient of genes and chromosomes. He tells them that these particles affect the mind and intelligence, and those men can achieve things far above humanity could ever. Meanwhile, Lieutenant Mins leaves the hospital after mind-controlling the nurse and guards, showcasing the true extent of his newfound abilities. Agent Harris briefs Branch about this, that he had over a dozen guards and the hospital staff, but no one remembers seeing him leave. and now they have no clue where he went. Mins goes to the stock exchange and starts investing. He starts with $500, and in the next few days he wins more than $400,000. The agents learn of his overnight success and look for him. They start looking at the money trail and find that Mins sent all his money to the other 3 men, who also had alien brains. He split the money 3 ways and sent it via bank transfer. With his piece of the money, the second soldier, Francis Hadley, buys an abandoned factory for his experiments, and his landlord, Mr. Larkin, shows interest in his invention and wants to invest as well, but Hadley informs him that it's not an invention and that he's just doing some experiments. When Mr. Larkin gets greedy and threatens Hadley with a gun, he uses his hypnosis and tells him he's getting late for his flight, and Larkin should either sign the papers or shoot himself, so he complies and signs. When Adam and others arrive at the laboratory, they find that he's experimenting on inert gases. Also, he seems not to be in a hurry. Adam and Harris argue that this can be dangerous, but they are clueless about where to search. They then ask Mr. Larkin about the other soldiers, but he can't recognize any of them. Later, Adam visits a place where the 3rd soldier, James Conover, escaped after the incident, in a metallurgic factory in Sweden. The man at the factory praises Conover for his brilliance and intelligence, and says that Conover is very smart and humble and that he has created alloys that are not only lighter but stronger than already existing alloys, and only within a few days of him being at the factory. He says that Conover is usually always on time, but today he is late. We see that Conover had sensed they were looking for him, so he doesn't walk inside the factory. On the other hand, Conover prays and asks if it's God's will that he is seeing things, and he then says that this thing in his head is making him do things, and he believes it must be good. In Tokyo, Adam now visits Ronaldo, the 4th soldier who retreated to Japan after the accident, who now is very happy as he has accomplished his mission. He then asks Adam about his new invention, and surprisingly, he guesses correctly that it's a motor. He asks how he knew this, to which Adam replies that he made this calculated guess because the other men are experimenting on air conditioning and metallurgy. Ronaldo learns that there are men other than him that receive these instructions. He was completely unaware of this, even when Adam mentions that they found him following the trace of the money that Mins have sent him. Ronaldo then tells him that even if he wants, he can't leave this project. He then shows his new motor, which works without any fuel and defies the rules of gravity. Adam tells Ronaldo that they are going to put a stop to this, but Ronaldo hypnotizes him. When he gains his senses, 2 weeks have already passed, and he has no clue how he got there from Tokyo. He returns to his office and meets Mr. Branch, and they discuss how all these men are unable to control themselves. And even though they don't want to work, they are forced by this alien brain to work towards the progress of this project. Afterward, as Mins is walking on the road, a kid named Johnny stops him by calling him Lieutenant. Surprisingly, both of them know each other's name without ever meeting before. Johnny asks Mins where he is going, and he says far away, to which Johnny requests to join him, and Mins agrees to take him and will come for him at a later time. Adam finds Lieutenant Mins' location, and he, along with several other agents, starts waiting for him. As Lieutenant Mins enters the building, Agent Harris and Adam fail to stop him. Even though they shoot him point blank, it still misses the target, and he simply walks out of there. Afterward, they brief the secretary and inform him that this might be an alien invasion. They believe Mins will now be going to Wichita, where the starship will be assembled. Ronaldo and Conover arrive in Wichita, where they meet each other for the first time and discuss their work. Ronaldo shows him his new work, a force field strong enough to even stop a bomb. Conover asks why he made it, to which he replies that someone told him to, perhaps their project needed it. They discuss how they are forced to do things, and they can't do anything with their choice. They do everything as a compulsion for a project they know nothing about. They discuss and come to the conclusion that combined, all of them are making a spaceship, and they don't know if it is for the good or something evil. Conover says that he sees disabled children and strange things which scare him. Adam and Agent Harris discuss the writings they decoded from Min's apartment, and they find several locations: a hospital, a theater, and a house. As they visit each location, they discover two things in common. Each has a disabled child, and each of the children has seen the lieutenant, who they claim to be their friend, and agree to go with him wherever he takes them. This is a revelation for Adam, and he now has the whole picture about what is going on. They are gathering children to abduct them, and by building a spaceship, they can take them to their home planet for who knows what. Adam and Harris also arrive at the factory in Wichita, where they are all gathering. They find that everyone is there now except Lieutenant Mins and the children. Adam tells Harris that they should attack with whatever force they have. Adam and others enter the building and find the spaceship almost ready. Ronaldo activates the force field so no one gets hurt. Adam tells them about the kidnapping of innocent children on a one-way trip, and these children are not even healthy. Ronaldo doesn't believe him, so he reminds them that the lieutenant isn't telling them everything. They tell him that even if he is lying, they can't do anything as they are not in control of their minds. Adam tries to come close to them but realizes that they have impenetrable force field. The agents shoot at it, but they are unsuccessful in going through. Meanwhile, Lieutenant Mins picks up the children one by one, and this news also gets to Adam, who alerts all his men. But while they wait from the front gate, they enter through the back side. Adam asks them what he promised these kids, and he says that he promised them a long trip in a starship. Adam begs them to let go. And finally, Conover stands up and agrees with Adam, and asks Mins that he can't do this. The remaining men also stand against him and question the things they did just for the sake of this project. They say that the thing in their mind only takes over their consciousness when it's related to the project. As they are about to turn off the force field, Mins explains why they're doing this project. He says he is simply telling them words coming to his mind from somewhere. The kids aren't going to be harmed, but instead, they're going to get help. Smart, friendly aliens run the project from a planet where life is very advanced. They have very long lifespans but can't have babies anymore. So they sent their DNA factor attached to meteors, hoping that it would reach a planet like Earth. These kids with incurable diseases will go to a new world where they'll be healed, and they will live a happy life. He then allows Adam and Harris to come and take the children if they want, but as they enter the ship, they find the children cured and happy. The air in the spaceship is already healing them. The invention from Hadley and his experiments with inert gases is what creates the atmosphere that mimics the aliens' homeworld. This softens Mins and Harris as they see the true intention of the project. Mins then gives the men a choice. If they want, they can stay on Earth or go with him and the kids. They all choose to go to the new world and start a new life. That's all for today, guys. Here are 2 more videos for you to binge on. See you next time.